Now at 5, fire destroys a Joplin apartment building. Plus, protesters gather in Montgomery County, Kansas to raise awareness of the dangers of fentanyl. And
the legal battle between the DOJ and attorneys for the former president continues, with the latest round going to the feds. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with the latest court ruling in the documents case against the former president.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
a Joplin apartment building is destroyed by an early morning fire. This is KOAM News at 5. Firefighters were dispatched to the building at 1221 East 9th Street just after 5:30 this morning. The fire was declared out at 8:27. Authorities say everyone inside did make it out safely. The Joplin Fire Marshal is currently investigating the cause of that fire. Protesters today gathered outside the Montgomery County, Kansas courthouse to spread awareness about the dangers of fentanyl. They say their goal is to seek justice for loved ones they've lost and harsher punishments for anyone who's caught with the drug. U.S. Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas is pushing for federal legislation called the Cooper-Davis Act. It's named after a Johnson County, Kansas teenager who lost his life to a fentanyl overdose. It would require social media companies to report all illicit drug activity occurring on their platform to law enforcement.
We can stand up for Montgomery County, and we can let these people know that we need tougher punishments for the people who have it, who are in possession with it, who are out here distributing it. We need tougher punishments.
According to the CDC, there were a little more than 90,000 fentanyl overdose deaths in 2020. A mental health crisis can happen to anyone at any time. For a lot of veterans, it's common to isolate themselves and battle with thoughts by themselves without seeking help. Well, the Joplin-based Veteran Integration Program, also known as VIP, helps veterans in the area work with other community groups. The program provides help for veterans with physical as well as mental health issues. Roger Koch, a veteran and military liaison for the VIP program, says it's important for veterans to get past the reluctance to ask for help when it's needed.
I'll speak for myself. A lot of veterans, we won't step out for assistance because, it's kind of been ingrained in us through the training that it's considered, like a weakness.
Koch encourages people to reach out and talk to veterans as if they have any extraordinary experiences. The new National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 3-digit dialing code 988. Fall officially arrives this evening, and boy, Doug, it feels like it.
Yeah, 8:04 p.m. officially, it's going to be fall. We want to get rid of this summer. Of course, record highs yesterday, 99 degrees. So if you look at our 24-hour temperature change, it's 35, 37 degrees colder right now compared to what it was at 5 p.m. yesterday. Of course, we had the light showers, especially along the north of I-44 throughout the daytime hours. Most of these are pretty much gone. We still have a few little light showers east of Nevada near Stockton, a couple once you get into northwestern Arkansas. But really through the evening hours, just clouds, chilly. We're sitting 65 in Nevada, 64 in Miami, 63 in Anderson. Pittsburgh checking in at 62 degrees. So a lot of clouds will start to clear out late this evening. We slowly drop back eventually down to about 57. We do have some more rain chances, and we're going to heat back up, of course. We'll look at that here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you then. A 3-judge panel on the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled in favor of the U.S. government in its criminal probe of former President Donald Trump's handling of government records. Reporter Skyler Henry has details.
The Department of Justice has won the latest round in the legal battle over documents with classified markings recovered from former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. A 3-judge appellate court panel with 2 Trump appointees ruled that the FBI does not need to turn over documents with classified markings to the special master for his review, and that FBI agents can regain access to those documents as part of the criminal probe into the handling of government records. The appellate court ruling also states that Trump suggests that he may have declassified these documents when he was president, but the record contains no evidence that any of these records were declassified. Trump told Fox News Wednesday there was no process to declassify the material.
If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it.
The judges wrote that the declassification argument is a red herring because declassifying an official document would not change its content or render it personal. The appellate court ruling came after New York's Attorney General filed a new civil lawsuit against the former president and 3 of his adult children. The 222-page civil lawsuit alleges Trump and his family defrauded insurers and lenders, violating state and potentially federal laws.
Donald Trump falsely inflated his net worth by billions of dollars to unjustly enrich himself and to cheat the system, thereby cheating all of us.
The state is seeking to recover $250 million in allegedly unlawful profits and a life ban on Trump and his children serving as officers in any New York company. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The Trump legal team can appeal the 3-judge panel's ruling to either the full 11th Circuit Court of Appeals or even to the U.S. Supreme Court. President Biden has declared a major disaster in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Fiona brought catastrophic flooding to that island. Much of Puerto Rico is still without power and access to clean water. To help, the U.S. military has distributed bottled water to victims. The National Hurricane Center says Fiona is forecast to pass near Bermuda early tomorrow and then hit eastern Canada this weekend. Russian President Vladimir Putin is facing backlash at the United Nations over his war in Ukraine, and he's also facing backlash at home after ordering a partial mobilization of thousands of reservists to fight in Ukraine. Protests broke out against Putin's order, which follows heavy Russian military losses. Cars with those hoping to flee have surged at the border with Finland, and prices for flights, many sold out, have skyrocketed. Coming up, COVID's long-term impact.
New research shows COVID-19 can impact the brain long after the infection. I'm Elise Preston with the findings of a new study.
And later, how a new app is letting people rent their yards to dog owners for some quick cash. Topping today's Health Watch, a new report shows progress against cancer, with more people in the U.S. surviving cancer than ever before. The American Association for Cancer Research found in the past 3 years, the number of cancer survivors living in the U.S. increased by more than 1 million. For all cancers combined, the 5-year survival rate overall has increased from 49% in the mid-1970s to nearly 70% from 2011 to 2017. Healthcare workers are more emotionally exhausted as a result of the pandemic. That's according to a study in JAMA Network Open, which found nurses shouldering most of that burden. They reported increased emotional exhaustion every year since 2019, and doctors spiked sharply in 2021. There's new research on how COVID-19 can impact the brain. Reporter Elise Preston has more.
COVID-19 infections increase the risk of long-term brain problems. That's according to new research from Washington University School of Medicine. Researchers looked at an analysis of federal data from March 2020 through January 2021, a time when vaccines were not widely available. They found people who had COVID-19 had a greater chance of developing a variety of neurologic conditions in the first year after becoming infected. Those health issues include strokes, cognitive and memory problems, depression, anxiety, and migraine headaches. A previous study from these researchers showed getting vaccinated slightly lowered that risk by about 20%. Risk factors for developing the long-term neurological problems are still being investigated. Researchers say these problems were seen in people who were previously healthy, had mild infections in the young and old, and in women and men. It's estimated COVID-19 has contributed to more than 40 million new cases of neurological disorders around the world. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The data used in this study was gathered before the Delta and Omicron variants. A little chill could potentially treat and prevent type 2 diabetes. Research presented at the European Association for the Study of Diabetes found that shivering during repeated cold exposure improved glucose tolerance. It also decreased fasting blood sugar and blood fat levels. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, the U.S. Senate ratifies an international agreement aimed at combating climate change.
Plus a chilly night for us tonight, but we're going to heat back up. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, a huge switch for us today. We are 99 degrees, record high yesterday. We've been into the upper 90s all week long, and then today we can't even get out of the 60s. We've been just kind of hanging out into the mid 60s throughout the day. A lot of clouds, of course. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. We've had these light showers pushing through over the past several hours. Most of us didn't get a lot of rain, but at least we got a little bit of rain across the region, and we're still socked in with the clouds, which will start to break up just a bit as we work through the evening hours. Still a few light little showers east of Nevada. One little guy just to the west of Joplin, then some very light showers once you get into northwestern Arkansas. Rainfall amounts, most of us, 1/10 of an inch upwards of about 1/4 of an inch. You can see the brighter greens, but our southern counties, just some sprinkles, and that's really just about it. This storm system, this little wave, is rotating out of here, but back toward the west, we have a secondary wave. This is mainly going to stay to our north, but it will give us, our northern counties, at least a few light showers as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Temps right now, kind of chilly. 65 Nevada, 63 in Anderson. Parsons sitting at about 64 degrees in Joplin. We're at 62 right now. Socked in with the clouds, currently 62, dew point of 55 east. Northeasterly winds are light at about 5 to 10. We slowly drop back into the upper 50s as we go through the evening hours. So it's going to be a chilly fall evening, kind of chilly throughout the overnight hours. We have these northeasterly winds starting to diminish a little bit at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. All right, let's go through time. For us tonight, we're going to stop 6:30 in the morning, northern counties, Yates Center, Iola, maybe a random shower. Everybody else partly cloudy. As we go through the morning to about the noon hour, you can see these light showers, Yates Center, Chanute, Fort Scott, Nevada, even over towards Stockton. Everybody else, mainly dry. We start to heat back up, mid to upper 80s during the afternoon. Northern counties, a little bit cooler. You guys stay right about 80 degrees during the afternoon. Tomorrow evening, we get some clouds rotating through. As we go into early Saturday morning, we could see a random shower, and then most of the day looks pretty good. It's going to be quite a bit hotter. 91 in Anderson, 93 in Miami, 89 Fort Scott, 89 in Nevada. So Saturday, back into the mid-90s for highs, but I think the bulk of the weekend is actually shaping up pretty good. We'll get another weak little front that drops in Saturday night, cooling us down just a bit. In the morning, 59, 75 by noon, 85 during the afternoon, high temp, 87. Of course, high school football tomorrow evening. We are going to have some clouds out there, but in general, it looks good. At the kickoff of games, about 82 by the time the games end, sitting into the mid-70s, partly cloudy skies. 87 tomorrow, shower in our northern counties. 95 Saturday. We cool down a little bit. Sunday, 84, and then we kind of sit low to mid 80s much of next week, all the way into next weekend. So we get some decent early fall-like weather moving in for next week.
Yeah, just in time.
Yeah.
Fall arriving this evening.
As long as we're not sitting in the upper 90s, we're in pretty good shape.
We will not complain. Thanks, Doug. The Neosho Area Habitat for Humanity is partnering with the National Ready Mixed Concrete Association's Build with Strength Coalition. Partnership aims to build 2 unique and affordable homes in Neosho. These homes will be the first Neosho Habitat homes to use insulating concrete forms. It's a sustainable, non-combustible concrete building system designed to reduce upfront costs and improve durability and energy performance. One of the future homeowners says she is grateful.
It's amazing. We're so excited, and it's been a process, and it's usually like these really exciting things don't happen all the time, and it's thrilling.
Habitat for Humanity has built 18 affordable homes in Neosho. Coming up, a new app aims to be the Airbnb for dogs, kinda. But first, we honor a local veteran. Charlie Mitchell served in the U.S. Army and Missouri National Guard. The Joplin native was stationed in Iraq, and we salute Sergeant Charlie Mitchell, a 4-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the Senate has ratified an international agreement that compels the U.S. and other nations to limit the use of hydrofluorocarbons, a major force behind global warming. The powerful greenhouse gases are frequently used in refrigeration and air conditioning. The so-called Kigali Amendment to the 1987 Montreal Protocol on Ozone Pollution requires participating nations to phase down production and use of hydrofluorocarbons by 85% over the next 14 years. The Federal Trade Commission says Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and CEO Andy Jassy must testify in its investigation into the company. The FTC is investigating whether the company misled people into subscribing to Amazon Prime and other services. The decision comes after earlier Amazon claims that FTC staff were harassing the two men and imposing undue burdens on them. The company had filed a petition to the agency's topmost officials asking them to intervene, but it failed. If going to the dog park sends your furry friend into a frenzy, well, a newly launched service could be a more relaxing solution. And if you have your own patch of green grass, well, it's an easy way to make some quick cash. It's called Sniff Spot. Reporter Dave Schumann talked to the owner and shows us how it works.
This is more than just a backyard. To a dog, this is a luxurious space that an owner might be willing to pay, say, $10 an hour for.
We provide poop bags, we provide treats, toys. I usually leave out some LaCroix water for the guests too.
Ann Maves makes anywhere from $60 to $80 a week renting out her yard on Sniff Spot. It's a new app that bills itself as the Airbnb of private dog parks, and there are about 100 spots available in the metro.
We are a safe alternative to what's already out there, which is walking your dog on a leash or going to a dog park.
Not everyone wants such a private experience, though.
I think any way to bring dogs together, bring people together, I can't count the number of friends I've made at the dog park because of Toby.
I like seeing other dogs, especially the puppies, so it's worth it.
But the fact is, not every dog is a good fit for such a crowded setting. Shy or fearful dogs, puppies maybe. They're why Ann got into Sniff Spot in the first place.
We started it just to kind of give an outlet to those dogs because we've been there and we know how hard it is. So the money was just kind of an added bonus.
Sniff Spot's founder says that sentiment is not uncommon.
It's about seeing the look of joy on a dog's face when they're running free in their yard and getting that sense of purpose from doing it.
Dogs have personalities, just like people.
She's very social. She doesn't really like people getting in her space.
So just like with people, it never hurts to have options. David Schumann, WCCO 4 News.
The average space costs $9 to $15 per dog per hour. Most of the hosts earn hundreds of dollars a month. Car rental company Hertz plans to buy up to 175,000 electric vehicles from General Motors over the next 5 years. The agreement follows earlier announcements it would buy 100,000 electric cars from Tesla and another 65,000 from Polestar. Hertz plans to buy vehicles from all four of GM's North American passenger vehicle brands, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. They'll include a variety of vehicle types and classes. Most of the models are not yet in production. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a look at the challenges facing prospective home buyers. Then on KOAM News at 6, a Fort Scott woman charged with 16 counts of forging checks. Plus, we're going to have more on efforts to combat veteran suicides in Missouri. And the Pitt State Gorillas look to stay unbeaten as they hit the road to Emporia this weekend. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Just in time for the start of fall. Fall-like weather arrived. It's not going to stay this cool for long.
No, it really isn't. We're going to have the clouds sticking around throughout the evening hours. Eventually, we'll drop back upper 50s later on tonight. We heat back up tomorrow. It's not bad, 87. A few random showers, mainly in our northern counties. And then 95 Saturday. Another front drops through Saturday night. So we kind of hold into the 80s most of next week. Not much rain in the forecast, though.
I vote for no more 90s after Saturday.
That would be very nice.
You're going to submit that
It's
to
not
the
going to
powers
happen.
to be? No.
No.
All right. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. Let's make it a great evening.